Yo boys, back with another video. Today we're going to be doing the good old fashioned Pharaoh Druid. Now I have some games here today, so I ended up playing some Pharaoh Druid for content, and also I'm working on my Resto Druid set to go for rank 1 in solo shuffle. Um, there's that. I do work at around 5 a.m., so that's why I've been mainly up during the night, when I'm off. So stuff like that. So if you're wondering why I don't really push rating like that anymore, it's mainly because I play during the AM and it's even 10 times more dead in the day, or during the night than it is the day. So you can probably see how hard it is. You have about 5 LFGs to work with, and most of them are low rated. So that's just kind of how it is at this rating. Same thing with solo shuffle. You won't get anybody above 2400. So here we get a good old fast clone in the opener. Always good to see. The main thing as Pharaoh Druid is just use CDs on blades. Now here, this was the one game I did. We beat these guys so much that this was the one game I posted that we still beat them, but that's why I trinketed. You never want to trinket like I just did until the rogue uses blades, because a good rogue will use blades and duel on you, and they'll kill you. Thankfully, they don't end up doing that, but you'll see that our pressure is this is just a bad comp for them in general. Uh, BM and Pharaoh Druid, anytime people are stacked together, it's just not a good thing. And unfortunately, with the comp that they're playing, you literally have to be stacked, and they're if he was Outlaw or like a Frost DK or even a Fury Warrior, even a Windwalker, it would be 10 times better. But anything other than a Sub Rogue's not good. I mean, you can make it work with like a one-shot macro, which is probably how they were winning their games. But anybody that uses cooldowns or isn't a bot will just, they'll survive it. That's just kind of how it is. But here I let my guy 2v2. He ends up revivaling at 100% to stop the trap, which honestly wasn't even worth it because he's still dying. So he literally hasn't even been CC'd, and my guy's actually killing him. So thankfully we get orb early. I'm gonna Heart of the Wild so I can get fast clones. He ends up kicking me. So we're gonna try to clone him on the orb if we can. If not, it's fine. Looks like we fake cast this one. Here we're gonna bear form, and then we're gonna clone the rogue. Now we clone him on the shadowy duel, and he doesn't trinket, which is really bad for them. He should have immediately trinketed and tried to get trinket out of me or something. But thankfully he ends up sitting my entire clone. At this point, again, if you look at our pressure, just BM alone, anytime people are stacked together, BM Hunter is just going to shred. It just has a consistent burst. It's just broken. It's even more broken than like any other class in the game when they're stacked. Maybe Arcane Mage is just as broken if people are stacked. But I'd say Arcane and Beast Mastery are the only two classes that you literally cannot stack. Maybe Assassination Rogue and Pharaoh Druid, but Arcane and BM Hunters they'll have infinite amount of damage compared to just bleed damage is literally infinite. You cannot stack. So them stacked together, as you can see, my BM's already doing 3 times everyone's damage. The Enhance is trying to one-shot me here. He knocks me out of the bomb, which is actually really bad for them. But at the same time, my priest was kind of on top of me, so it wouldn't have really mattered. Uh, you're really not going for many clones in this. You're kind of just Pving, and you'll see that you're really trying to clone when you can, but going with shamans in general, it's just really hard to get clones off. You got to go through 2 kicks, grounding, and just all that stuff. So here we clone shaman on his orb. Always cloning defensively is really good, especially since he just trinketed and he had orb at the same time. So now he has literally nothing during our next stun. Um, we're kiting away because they're going to do their CC go on me here. He does use Cloak and Blade, so I know I'm going to have to bear form early. We get a good dome. You can bleed him through the, the Cloak, so you're pretty much able to do that. And as you can see, the Rogue's doing negative damage, which is kind of, again, this is the worst spec that you could play. Especially if you're not with, like, a Mage that is, like, a powerhouse. A Mage or something really strong. A Mage or a Boomy. Even then, Outlaw, I'd say honestly, Assassination Rogue is just going to be 10 times better than a Sub Rogue, but this is just how it is. They must have had literally nothing to queue, so they decided to play this. At this point, it just comes down to we just need to do enough damage and we'll win. Um, we have double PS, swap, rupture. We have everything pretty much, every cooldown in the game. At this point, we stun this guy, and he's probably gonna live by a little bit. Nope. He actually does live, so he actually lives by a literal hair. At this point, we're keeping shredding. We're trying to fake cast into a clone on the enhance, even if it's for a second. It's still good. Allows him not to do anything. He still has yet to get to play the game. Now he finally does. At this point, his orb's already over. We're bleeding up the rogue, and we're kind of just cleaving at this point. We're gonna fake cast the rogue, clone the Mistweaver full. Off this, we can trap, and we win the game. Or we can DR Fear, literally any type of CC at this point. He stuns him into a trap, and the game's pretty much over. And we just kill both of them. For the next game, it's Mage Outlaw Rogue, and he's playing Fire Mage. Now, this is what happens when you face a Fire Mage, and this is why I don't put Fire Mage very high, because if you're not the very best, and you're not playing a really good comp, this is not a good comp, because Outlaw Rogue is a dampener spec. You want to be playing with an Assassination Rogue with a Fire Mage if you're going to do RMP. You cannot play with an Outlaw. Outlaw is meant to dampen out people. It's good with like a Frost Mage or a Boomy or anything that's damp, like Thug, something where it allows you guys to survive. Fire Mage is the one spec that cannot survive, and I'm so used to being a Wrestle Druid that I thought I could clone from way back there, but I guess I couldn't. So that's a good old fast. So here we get PS, Alter Time. We're going to try to clone the Mage. We fake cast here. He kicks the Priest. So here we're just going to keep pressure up, AoEing, and keeping the dam up. Cloning is a really good thing, but make sure you're not just trinketing aggro just to do more damage. So here we get a full clone off the Disorient, and then we use Typhoon to keep him still at this point. We get a full stun into a trinket. We've already gotten every coil in the opener pretty much, while we all have trinkets, and we're just shredding damage. And they're stacking together. Again, the worst thing that they can do is go me, because if I'm stacking on top of the Mage, it means I'm going to be hitting two people. That's why their entire team is dead. So here, we're going to get ready to clone soon when we can. We're going to fake cast. Fake cast again. Looks like he kicks me. If he kicks early, it's actually not that bad, because we can just get blocked here. Off this, we can clone the rogue if possible. Yep, full clone. Off that, we can swap it to the healer once it's off DR and off the ultimate penance. And then off that, we pretty much win the game. So as long as we don't die here, we're pretty much chilling. So waiting for the altar time, we're going to clone, fake cast, and then clone again, cloning the priest. Now we can just kill the mage. Right now, there's really nothing they can do. And that's kind of just how Fire Mage is. So that's pretty much the game. We do counter this comp really hard, but if it was Frost Mage, they would have had way more of a chance. Being a Fire Mage in this type of comp is, you need a Feral Druid, you need something bursty. Assassination Rogue, Feral Druid, maybe Windwalker, something that's just going to powerhouse through. Usually Mage Rogue with Assassination does it, or Feral Druid. Here's another comp that I just played beautifully on. Mage Boomy, it's kind of just a dampener, and they would have been better off. This actually isn't a bad comp, but it's just a weird comp. Usually Boomy DH, Boomy Outlaw Rogue will be better. So here we open, get our burst up. We're going to DR stun and then DR stun again. So here we Typhoon him. So literally we're just not allowing him to play the game while we're getting all of our cooldowns off. We're going to Cyclone him low. So here we Cyclone him. Perfectly done. Now he's going to be stuck at 40% while we're doing damage to the rest of the team. Off this, we can either Cyclone the Mage or Cyclone the Healer. We'll see what happens. Or we might even Cyclone the Boomy again. So here we Cyclone the Boomy. Now we're going to swap it to the Mage. So we basically stopped all of their burst damage in the opener. Off this, we're going to swap it to the Priest. It looks like he got out of range by a spec. We're going to stun the Boomy. Now we're getting damage up on him, mainly just keeping him still, allowing us to bleed him. We're going to Cyclone the Boomy soon. We fake cast the Mage, we Cyclone the Mage again, DR. Off this, we can Cyclone the Boomy if we need to. So it looks like we're going to do it now. Now that we know he's not going to die, there's no point of not Cycloning. We can swap the Cyclone, and now we can keep the pressure going. He actually ends up almost dying here, but here he bashes me. It would be really good to clone me there, but it looks like he doesn't. We just keep the pressure on. Infinite amount of damage. We can clone somebody here soon, or we can swap to somebody else. So the Mage is right on top of us. We're going to run away. Cycloning, we fake cast him here. We can push in now. Cyclone again. Unfortunately, he does get out of range. And we just keep bleeding. When you can't get a clone off, just bleed. Don't worry about cloning like too much. But cloning like this is perfect. It allows us to do whatever we want. Cycloning off the incap. At this point, the game should be over. And it looks like we get some type of CC off that. We'll see. Yep, a DR fear. And we win the game. So again, just doing those cyclones. When you know you can't kill somebody or they're doing burst and you can get those cyclones off, just like that, you can control the entire game based off of cloning. Another example, This team actually beat us one time. We beat them, I think, 2 or 3 times. Uh, don't clone versus enhancement shamans. It's not that good. Um, if you can get it off, great. But usually, it's just damage is gonna be better. You got to go through ground 2 kicks. It's just gonna take too long. By the time you finally do get the clone off, it's gonna be like 15 seconds in. By that time, you could have got an infinite amount of damage out. Um, so here, we're focusing more on damage, and that's pretty much it. So here we're letting him 2v2. Here we just go in, put some bleeds up. The druid's gonna bash me most likely. Nope, he rakes me. At this point we trinket. We can stun. He actually stuns. We double stun him. We put our bleeds up on him. He actually ends up trapping him. So I wanted to go on the rest of the druid in the opener, but at this point we're like, okay, whatever. We're just gonna bleed this guy up, and you'll see how much I get CC'd. I get CC'd a ton. And here we end up, no, they double wall, so we're gonna try to clone. That's the first kick. We finally get the clone. Really good because it's on his wall. Then I swap it to the enhancement shaman. So now they've literally gotten no pressure off on us. We have used an ultimate penance. We're going to try to clone here. So here we swap to the druid just for a second to get some bleeds up on him. At this point, we're rooted. Shifting isn't even worth it sometimes because it takes so long. It's not even that good. Like, it's good if you can get off quickly, but when it with no haste, it literally takes 2 seconds to shift. I would rather just throw out some moonfires and try to clone. So here we go for another clone. Nice, we get a clone on the enhance. We get trinket out of that and wall. At this point, we're kind of in a bad situation. We're pretty much almost dead. So here we're going to try to clone again. We do get cycloned. It would have been nice if my hunter kicked that, but it's alright. At this point, again, we're trying to CC again. Finally get the CC. Even if it's DR, it allows us just enough time to maybe top us off. Here we Typhoon him. Not allowing him to get past my guy. We still have Dome available. We can try to clone the Druid soon, but mainly we're trying to get bleeds up. Just keep the pressure going. And now it's where we fake cast. We unfortunately get 2 kicks. Then we try to clone again, and then we get grounding. Again, this is why cloning isn't the best thing, because that exact thing is what's going to happen every single time, and it's just insane. It's super hard to get clones off. So here we fake cast. We swap the clone to the Druid, and he's going to probably trinket. Yep, he trinkets. At this point, we can trap him, or actually, it looks like we don't have trap. Here I cyclone him again. We end up baiting kick. Again, I'm baiting all the kicks out so my guy can free cast. So we're just keeping the bleeds up, keep pressure going, and occasionally CCing when we can. Cycloning on defensive cooldown. So here we can cyclone the enhance. Looks like, again, he kicks me. Keep the bleeds going. Again, we're going to cyclone again. Finally get it so he doesn't get any pressure off. And we're able to swap the clone if possible. As you can see, line, so we're not going to be able to get it. We do have trap and fear available. So I'm just going to keep pressuring until I see I can get a clone. Here we stun him, and we kill him. So, again, just damage overall is going to be better, and that's just all there is to it. Close game, but as long as you're just able to peel for your team, sometimes it can make sense. Again, other times it's going to be insanely hard to get off a clone. That's why cloning versus some setups are just not good, and it's just better to do damage. Pretty much the same comp, and this is a perfect example of just getting good damage off and getting enough CC to where it just forces them to use everything. So here we let my guy 2v1, forcing the other hunter to come out and the druid, giving us the opener. At this point, we stun, we bleed everything. The one thing you don't want to do versus a BM hunter or a feral druid is stack, and look what they're doing. We get trinket in the opener. Everybody's almost dead because they're stacking. We clone, we bait 2 kicks out of the way, we clone again. Get the full clone here, allows us to get everything in the opener. We almost get one-shotted, but thankfully we survive. And we just keep pressure up, keep it going. So here we can get ready to swap, keep the CC alive, and we're just hitting everything. Keep bleed on every target, Primal Wrath, Moonfires, Rakes, everything. And as you can see, the damage is rolling and rolling and rolling, going for clothes when we can, fake casting when we can. Here he instantly kicks me. Here we bash him into a clone. Full clone, nice. Off this, we can get any type of CC. We get a full stun here. The game should be pretty much over, which it pretty much is. So if you guys want to see more videos like this in the future, let me know. But this is kind of how you can win games, how you can play Feral Druid. Otherwise, make sure to check out my Patreon for early content. Otherwise, it's been X, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, peace.